A gorilla raised 3 leopard cubs. What happened when they grew up shocked everyone. The dense canopy of the Congolese rainforest rarely allows the sun to touch the forest floor, creating a world of perpetual emerald twilight where the rules of survival are written in blood and instinct. Yet, deep within this humid sanctuary, a silence settled over the tangled vines that defied millions of years of evolutionary history. A silverback gorilla named Kimbuka, a colossus of muscle and dark fur weighing over 400 pounds, sat motionless against the buttress roots of an ancient mahogany tree. The air was thick with the scent of crushed ferns, damp earth, and the heavy, humid promise of an approaching tropical storm. In the clearing before him, 3 half-grown leopards, their sunset-colored fur patterned with rosettes that should have signaled lethal danger to any primate, were not hunting. Instead, they were draped over the silverback's massive shoulders, their rhythmic purring vibrating through his deep chest. To any tracker or scientist entering this grove, the scene was an impossibility, a profound contradiction of nature that broke every law of the wild. Leopards are the apex predators of these shadows, the silent ghosts that hunt primates from the branches above. Yet here they were, bound to their natural enemy by an invisible, unbreakable thread of devotion. The tension in the air was palpable, not from malice, but from a looming transition that everyone who observed them knew was inevitable. A moment of reckoning that would soon shock the world. Before we uncover the extraordinary truth behind this impossible family and witness the moment that changed everything we know about animal nature, take a brief moment to join our community. If stories that explore the deep, unspoken mysteries of the heart touch your soul, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a journey. We would love to know where you are joining us from today, so please leave a comment below sharing your location and the exact time you are watching this video. Your presence and your thoughts mean the world to us as we share these remarkable tales. To truly understand how this miracle came to be, one must understand the sanctuary of peaceful isolation where Kimbuka lived, a protected valley where the canopy was so dense it muffled the outside world, smelling constantly of ripe figs, moss, and the ozone of distant lightning. Kimbuka was a gentle giant, a solitary silverback, whose troop had been lost years prior to a devastating natural migration, leaving him with an immense, unspent capacity for leadership and protection. His days were spent in a slow, deliberate rhythm, shifting his weight through the undergrowth, his amber eyes reflecting a profound, quiet intelligence. One evening, as the sky turned the color of bruised plums and the first cool breeze of night rustled the leaves, Kimbuka discovered a hollow log hidden beneath a curtain of wild orchids. Inside, huddled together for warmth, were 3 tiny leopard cubs, no larger than domestic kittens, their eyes barely open to the world. Their mother was nowhere to be found, lost to the unforgiving currents of the forest, and the air around the log was cold, carrying only the faint, sweet scent of milk that was rapidly fading. By all the laws of the jungle, Kimbuka should have walked away, or eliminated a future threat to his kind. Instead, moved by an ancient, maternal instinct that resides deep within the ancestral memory of all great apes, the giant knelt. He extended a massive, calloused finger, rough as tree bark, and gently nudged the smallest cub. The tiny creature, sensing warmth, crawled forward and pressed its face against the silverback's leathery palm. In that single quiet moment beneath the dripping leaves of the Congo, an alliance was forged that defied science, as Kimbuka gathered the 3 spotted orphans into his massive arms and brought them into his world. Months dissolved into seasons, and the improbable family grew under the watchful eyes of conservationists who observed them from a distance, amazed by the sensory harmony of their daily life. The sanctuary keepers watched through binoculars as the cubs, named Mara, Tano, and Silas, treated Kimbuka's silver back as a playground, their sharp claws retracted out of an innate respect for their protector. The air in their favorite clearing always smelled of sweet wild ginger and the warm, musk-scented fur of the growing predators. Kimbuka would sit for hours, a monument of patience, allowing the cubs to stalk his twitching stub of a tail or pounce on his massive, leathery feet. He taught them his own version of communication, rumbling a deep, low-frequency hum that signaled safety, a sound that the cubs answered with their own high-pitched, rasping purrs. It was a language born of necessity and affection, a bridge built over the chasm of their genetic differences. The keepers noted that Kimbuka's behavior changed entirely. He became softer, his movements deliberately slow so as not to startle his feline charges, while the leopards seemed to absorb the calm, deliberate nature of the gorilla, suppressing their chaotic hunting drives in his presence. They would sleep in a tangled heap of limbs and fur, the silverback's massive chest rising and falling in perfect synchronization with the 3 smaller, spotted bodies nestled against his heart, creating a sanctuary of peace within the wild. However, the idyllic peace of the valley could not last forever, and as the cubs approached their 2nd year, entering adolescence, a subtle and distressing shift began to poison the atmosphere. The transition was not marked by violence, but by a sudden, heartbreaking withdrawal that baffled the sanctuary's expert animal behaviorists and keepers. It began during a season of intense, oppressive heat, where the air was heavy with the suffocating scent of rotting vegetation and dry dust, and the sun beat down like a physical weight through the thinning leaves. Mara, the largest and most expressive of the 3 leopards, suddenly stopped playing, her eyes losing their bright, curious luster and turning dull and vacant. She refused to eat the food provided by the sanctuary teams, and soon her brothers, Tano and Silas, followed her into a state of profound lethargy. They no longer climbed Kimbuka's back, nor did they respond to his deep, comforting rumbles. Instead, they lay in the deepest shadows of the bush, their breathing shallow and rapid, their bodies limp. Kimbuka's desperation was agonizing to witness as the silverback paced circles around his failing children, his knuckles dragging heavily through the dirt, plucking handfuls of wild clover and gently dropping them before their noses, trying to coax them back to life. The air in the clearing was heavy with the acidic metallic scent of anxiety and distress, a palpable dread that hung over the entire sanctuary as the experts grew increasingly frantic, fearing a mysterious, invisible affliction was stealing the leopards away. The keepers and veterinarians worked around the clock, analyzing every environmental factor, testing the water sources, and observing the animals from dawn until dusk, yet all clinical evaluations showed no signs of physical illness, no infections, and no toxins. The crisis was entirely psychological and emotional, a profound failure of connection that threatened to stop the leopards' hearts through sheer despair. The experts realized that the young apex predators had reached a biological crossroads where their adult hunting instincts were awakening, creating a terrifying internal conflict with the peaceful primate-led life they had known. They were trapped between 2 worlds, unable to become wild leopards, but no longer able to survive as simple children of a gorilla, and the mental strain was causing their bodies to shut down entirely. Kimbuka seemed to understand this breakdown on a spiritual level. His eyes, usually so bright and commanding, became clouded with a deep, sorrowful resignation. He stopped eating as well, his immense frame losing vitality as he sat beside the listless cubs, cradled them in his lap, and let his head drop onto his chest. The silence in the jungle was absolute, devoid of the usual birdsong, filled only with the suffocating heat and the collective heartbreak of a family that was fading away from an unspoken sorrow. The turning point came on an afternoon when the sky cracked open with a sudden, violent thunderstorm, lighting the dark forest with flashes of brilliant violet and filling the air with the sharp electric scent of ozone and drenched earth. As the rain poured down in a deafening sheet, turning the forest floor into a rushing stream of mud, Kimbuka rose to his full height, beating his chest in a powerful, earth-shaking display that echoed through the valley. It was not a display of anger, but a supreme, desperate effort to break the spell of despair that had gripped his family. He walked over to the hollow where the 3 leopards lay shivering and, with immense tenderness, used his massive arms to lift all 3 of them simultaneously, pressing their wet, cold bodies tightly against his bare chest, right over the silver hair of his heart. In that high-stakes moment of absolute vulnerability, a profound emotional truth was revealed to the onlookers. Kimbuka began to rock back and forth, emitting a sound that no keeper had ever heard a gorilla make before. A long, continuous, deeply resonant harmonic trill that seemed to mimic the maternal purr of a mother leopard. He was using the entirety of his emotional intelligence to bridge the evolutionary divide, communicating a total, unconditional acceptance that transcended his own species. The effect of this profound emotional outpouring was immediate and miraculous, a beautiful resolution to a crisis that science could not solve. As the silverback's powerful voice vibrated through the leopards' chests, the deep-seated tension that had paralyzed their bodies began to melt away under the warm, comforting rain. Mara was the first to stir, her eyelids fluttering open as she lifted her head and pressed her nose against Kimbuka's leathery chin, leaving a streak of wet fur against his skin. A moment later, Tano and Silas let out long, shuddering sighs, their muscles relaxing as they closed their eyes and allowed themselves to be completely held by the giant ape. The air in the clearing transformed instantly, cleared of the scent of dread, and replaced by the fresh, clean aroma of rain-washed earth and the sweet musk-filled warmth of reunited family. For hours, the 4 animals remained locked in that embrace while the storm raged around them, their breathing gradually slowing down until all 4 chests rose and fell in a single, perfectly synchronized rhythm. The despair had vanished, replaced by an unbreakable understanding. The leopards realized they did not have to choose between their nature and their love, because Kimbuka's heart was large enough to encompass both. In the days and weeks that followed, the transformation solidified into a beautiful, historic reality that redefined the scientific understanding of animal empathy. The leopards regained their strength with astonishing speed, their sunset-colored fur returning to its glossy, vibrant health, and their eyes sparkling with a new, mature confidence. They returned to their playful routines, but with a noticeable difference. They were no longer just dependent cubs, but fiercely protective guardians of their adoptive father. When they walked through the forest, the 3 adult leopards would flank Kimbuka, one on each side and one leading the way, clearing the path and ensuring no other predators approached their sanctuary. Visitors and researchers from around the globe came to witness this philosophical marvel, documenting a legacy of love that challenged the very foundations of evolutionary biology. The story of Kimbuka and his 3 leopard children proved that empathy is not a uniquely human trait, nor is it bound by the constraints of genetics or predatory instincts. Rather, it is a universal force, a 6th sense of love that can heal the deepest divides and create harmony where nature dictated conflict. As we look upon the final images of this extraordinary family, resting together beneath the golden light of a setting sun that filters through the rainforest canopy, we are reminded of the profound depth of the natural world. Kimbuka, Mara, Tano, and Silas continue to live their lives in the quiet heart of the Congo, a living testament to the power of devotion and the unspoken bonds that connect all living creatures. If this journey into the heart of the wild has touched your life and expanded your understanding of love, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this story with your friends and family. Before you leave, we invite you to reflect on this beautiful mystery and answer a question in the comments below. Have you ever witnessed an animal show, an unexpected moment of intuition, empathy, or love that completely defied what you thought was possible? Thank you for watching, for sharing your thoughts with us, and for walking alongside us through the great, untamed wonders of our world.